Why do customers not take action despite the most baller offers and despite the fact that you've poured everything into it and maybe you're even offering at a discount? Today, we're going to talk about some science. We're going to talk about some stuff from the book by Dr. Robert Cialdini called Influence. And there's some really interesting stuff in here that I think is going to open up your eyes to the fact that it's not about you and it's not about your product. It's about actual brain science. All right, guys. So this is the first time I've streamed. I'm streaming from StreamYard, by the way, if you don't know that. Definitely look into it. Recommend. It looks like it's pretty sweet. I actually got I'm trying out the free trial for 7 days for 1080p. So if it's something you're looking at, one of my big complaints with Zoom, I've streamed with Zoom onto Facebook and also onto YouTube, and it just looks terrible. If you've watched my channel, you know that we're really big on quality, right? And I know we're still new to YouTube, but one of the things that I wanted is I wanted to be legit. I want it to sound legit. I want it to look legit. There's just no point to do this if it just looks terrible. So we were streaming our first interviews on YouTube, and it just looks so bad. I'm like, this is just not an experience that I would personally enjoy. So I'm not going to put it on the internet. So we'll see. I'm going to try this out, and we'll see if it goes. So drop me a comment in the section below. Let me know, like, does this look good? Is this something you would watch? And then also, too, I'm thinking about, so I run a community called StartupBooks, and it's a community for entrepreneurs. It's pretty obvious what it is, right? StartupBooks. But basically what we do is we unpack a bunch of resources for you, not dissimilar to the ones we're about to do right here today. And we basically allow you to take knowledge and turn them into profits, right? It's like, what do you do with the stuff that you read? And then how are you going to take that and actually go put it into action in the real world? How are you going to do that to get to make monumental changes in your business, to hit that breakthrough you're looking for, and so on and so forth. So it's great to read. It's bad to just put it back on the bookshelf and have it collect dust, right? We're about action. We're about results. So that's what we do in StartupBooks. I'd invite you to check that community out. I'm going to drop that below so you can check that out. You can actually take a free trial to that community, mystartupbooks.com. It's mystartupbooks.com. While you're here, guys, don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. If you like this stuff, if you like talking about insights and wisdom about entrepreneurship and how to succeed and get results, why wouldn't you? Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend, share it on social media. And let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go ahead and get started. So this book, this one's a mind bender. I've seen several entrepreneurs. I think it was the founders of Spotify, actually, if I'm not mistaken. One of my members in my community in StartupBooks actually sent it to me. Was talking about how they've cited this book as one of the few books that has led to their successes. All right, and so I thought that was awesome, and I've been reading the book, and I came across this section talking about social proof, and it's really fascinating because it basically shares why people do the things that they do. And there's a lot of really scary correlations between people's actions and the reasons that they either take action or they don't take action. And why once you understand it, then it'll help you make better decisions and take better action in your business, and specifically with your marketing. So let's talk about this one, and specifically, let's talk about uncertainty. So uncertainty is the last place that you want to send your customer. And in fact, what this book actually explains is that in uncertainty, what they found is that even in life and death situations, people remain uncertain. So let me give you a little bit of context from the book without having to read the whole chapter to you. Basically, there was a story that we talked about. So there's two things to understand. So one is pluralistic ignorance, right? And then we're going to talk about some of the effects therein after that. So understand that term. Pluralistic ignorance is what it's called. All right. Effectively, there was a lady over the course of like 3 hours. They had a guy that was like stalking her down. This was decades ago. There was a gentleman that was stalking her down and was stabbing her. This is in New York City. And so stabbed her some ungodly amount of times. She kept getting away, and he kept stalking her. And so basically what they were able to deduce was that something like 36 people had actually seen this event taking place and failed to act. And so one of the things that was assumed was that people in urban areas are just desensitized to death. They're just desensitized to people being in those situations. They just don't care, right? They just don't get it. And that's a pretty shitty world if you think about, kind of what that would entail, what that would mean. And what they found is that wasn't the case. It was the fact of the matter is that 36 people knew that 35 other people had seen someone else witness this event. And so they all assumed that someone anyone had already called the police. And so they went about their business, went about their day. And so what they showed is that in a different scenario, if only one person has seen the event transpire, that they actually would have taken action. Right. So we have to understand that in situations of uncertainty, people won't take action. Now, let's talk about a different, more specific or isolated incident that actually applies to what we're talking about here. Okay. So what they showed was that they had these researchers, couldn't think of what the term was there. They had these researchers actually be in situations where they were in a similar situation. They were testing, see how people would respond. Similar situation, meaning an emergency situation, and they would have people just yell help, right, or please help me or something, right? And so basically what they found was that there was a very low rate that someone actually took action to jump in and help whatever individual that was. If there was just a general call to action, no one actually would help. Now, one of the things that they found that I thought was really fascinating was once there was a specific call to action with a specific individual. So let's say this person got shot in the leg and they're on the sidewalk in the middle of Manhattan. And they pointed out, they said, hey, you in the blue jacket, I need help. Come over here and wrap my leg. Or, hey, you, lady in the red hat, is getting on the bus. Call 911 right now and tell them where we are. Tell them we're on the corner of 5th and Burnout. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. I don't know the streets off mine. But a specific call out to a specific person with specific instruction. What they found is that the percentages went up exponentially in terms of people actually taking action versus people that didn't take action. So generic call to action with nobody that elicits a specific individual characteristic, right? It wasn't like they were saying, hey, you to any specific individual, just a generic cry for help versus a specific call to action to a specific person. The statistics showed that people took action, whereas before they didn't. So it dismissed this idea of pluralistic ignorance, albeit that's still a relevant term, and it was proven to be accurate, which is something else we need to consider. However, what it also further proved, though, was that people in moments of uncertainty will remain in inaction, right? So let me repeat that. People in uncertainty will remain in inaction, meaning they won't do crap, right? So what that means for us as marketers in any business, and this is very, very common, is what you'll find is they don't really know entirely who they serve. They don't know who they market to. They don't know who their ideal customer avatar is, or who their ideal client avatar is, right? And so what they do is they just try to market to everybody, right? They create products. They'll just sell to anybody that was willing to buy their stuff. And then they wonder why it's not selling, why it's not working. They think it's a pricing issue. They end up lowering their price, right? So maybe they're selling something based on what they think they're worth, right? And then what they end up doing is just playing a price cutting game. And they end up devaluing themselves and the perception that they hold in the market. So people start then wondering, well, this must not be worth much, or it's not truly. And then so there's self-loathing that takes over because the individual that's selling whatever it is they're selling, either A, can't afford to continue running the business at those reduced rates, right? Not making the revenue that they actually could, but also starts to feel underappreciated and starts attracting the wrong type of customers, the type of customers that don't value what you're offering, because value has been directly associated, this is another study, value has been directly associated with the level of investment that people make, even if it's the exact same product, right? So another study from a different book that I read showed that 2 different glasses of wine were handed to 2 different groups of people. They all drank the glasses of wine. They were told that one cost $99 or $90, I believe it was, and the other was $9. They all agreed, both groups agreed unanimously that the $90 wine tasted better. It was the same wine. The only reason that they valued it more was because of the fact that it cost more money. So when we undercut our price because we didn't know why people weren't taking action, what we end up doing is we end up lowering what people actually deem. So they don't take that investment seriously and they don't value it to the degree that they should. So people pour their heart and soul into something. They think it's something wrong with the product. Oh, I'm just not good enough, or I'm not able to sell this, or we're not good enough at what we do. The service isn't, as good as so-and-so or such and such, right? It's not as good as what is deemed to be worthy in the market. So they end up doing the price game, right? Which even further devalues their perception in the market. When in reality, the entire problem, the genesis point of the problem, was the fact that people were in uncertainty. It had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with the product. It had nothing to do with the service that was rendered. It had everything to do with the fact that they were left in uncertainty. When you don't have a clear call to action to a specific individual that is your ideal customer avatar, it leaves people in uncertainty. So What can you do? The first thing you need to do is understand when you try to speak to everyone, you speak to no one. Okay. So what we need to do is whiteboard it out and figure out who is our ideal customer avatar. It may start with just one person, that's totally fine, or maybe two, right? You might have one set. Maybe you want to break it up and make it, male and female. So you have one ideal customer avatar that's male, one ideal customer avatar that's female. And then what you're able to do effectively is figure out not just who are the people that are going to buy our stuff, but who are the people we really want to work with. Because what's going to happen is when you find people that you actually want to work with, the ideal customer avatars, the people that really bring you joy, what ends up happening is it's a mutual two-way street, right? They're getting just as much value because you're delivering on a way that they resonate with, and vice versa, and you enjoy spending it. So you're putting more passion into your work because you're enjoying it just as much as they're enjoying the experience. And thus, the likelihood of them extending their working relationship with you, if you have a recurring model, right, is going to be exponentially higher, meaning you're probably going to show higher profitability. So you're going to get paid what you're worth, not have to undercut your own pricing. The customer experience is going to be tremendous. It's going to be fantastic, which means you're going to probably increase your profitability, which means you have to serve less people to make the same amount of money, meaning you're going to have less bandwidth concerns and less people to service, which means less problematic individuals likely, right? And you're not attracting the wrong people. You're attracting the people that you actually want to work with. So we're going to whiteboard it. We're going to figure out who those people are, and we're going to speak directly to those people, right? We want to have hey, you in the blue jacket, I need help, come do this. Clear call to action. Our websites need to be very, very clear. They're not brochures that just say, here's all the stuff that we do. It's very clear. Here's who we serve. Here's how we do it. Boom. And then there's a clear process with a clear product that's associated and tied specifically to that, or service, right? That's specifically tied to that. So I hope that's helpful. I hope you guys like these videos. Again, we do these all the time. This is what we do every week and every month is read books. We actually try to knock out a book a month. And this one is a doozy. I hope you guys gather a lot of value from this, and I will continue to do these. If you guys like this format of just these live streams and just kind of sharing insights as I'm learning from these, I will continue to do these. And again, sorry for being all over the place. I'm trying to figure out how to use this StreamYard thing. So hopefully in the future, it'll be a little bit more seamless, but I will see you guys in the next one.